I have some spooky stories. Here is one. English is not my native language. Be me, Mexican guy. Be part of the army for at least 7 years. Patrolling and being stationed at bases most of the time. Really shitty. Trying to apply to a different branch many times. Similar to Spec Op or Special Forces, but shittier because Mexico. Be accepted and assigned my first mission and new unit. We are tasked to survey an area that was used as a lab to cook hardcore drugs up in the mountains. Place was raided and dismantled a few years ago, but as always happens, they seem to be back, as it is a good spot. A small unit of 5 must watch the area and report back if we spot cartel activity. They always cook late at night. However, we must survey the area all night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. There are 2 locations that need to be watched during those hours. A structure previously used as a lab, and the main path I used to get there, both built by cartels. Sergeant stays at camp, recording and reporting activity, and the other 2 survey those 2 areas from 7 until 7. Next day, the other 2 rotate and survey. Night 4 out of 7 till next patrol comes. Nothing at all, bored as fuck. My expectations for this unit were way too high. Surveying the structure mentioned from a safe distance, about 2 a.m. Radio checks each hour. Guy surveilling the main path calls in, says he got something. Guy surveilling asks to change radio channel so that they can chat privately. A couple minutes passes, and Sergeant says he is sending the other 2 as backup. I am puzzled and confused, asked why, and if we should expect combat. Sergeant says it is protocol. I don't recall that protocol. As far as I know, we should just watch and report. About an hour or so, the other guy arrives. I continue the surveillance while he randomly checks the surroundings. The night passes. There is nothing to report. Night 5 out of 7, I'm staying at camp. Night 6 out of 7, I am surveying the structure again. Late night, around 3 to 4 a.m. Forest goes dead silent. Hear some noises, whispers, tree leaves breaking. I feel something is watching me. I better check it. I am up in a tree on a platform installed by the previous team. We use a rope ladder to get in and down. We are not supposed to use our flashlight during the night, so we don't reveal our position. I am trying to see what is making that noise with just my eyes. Whispering and movement increases below. Now I can even distinguish some words. Something like, perhaps we should, and some creepy jiggling. I am shitting my pants at this point. It is not wildlife. I yell. I am military and have a gun. I have permission to use lethal force, etc. Voices just laugh in a creepy tone. They are just below the tree. Fuck it. I'm using my flashlight. I need to see what I am dealing with. I point my flashlight to where the voices should be, and I can see shadows moving really fast away from the light. Keep trying to reach them with the light. Hear a whistle and a hey coming from the opposite side I am looking at. Point my flashlight. See a creepy man smiling at me. He is as pale as a paper sheet. He is really tall. His eyes are sunk deep in his sockets. It almost looks like he had no eyes. As I am pointing the flashlight from his toes to head, he just vanishes. Noises stop completely, but the forest is still silent. I am so scared I can't even move. I manage to use the radio. I am so fucked I can barely speak. Sergeant notices it immediately and says, "We're on our way." They arrive and help me get to the camp. Surveillance is cancelled. I am feeling very exhausted, but no way in hell I am sleeping. No one asks what I saw or what happened. They just tell me to rest and that we will be gone from there soon. I am able to get some sleep at dawn. Night 7 out of 7, I am staying at camp. Surveillance is resumed like nothing happened last night. Next day, the other team arrives at camp. Sergeant talks and exchanges information. We leave, walk for several hours till we reach the pickup location. We are transported to main base. The other guys just talked about normal shit. As I am new, I'm afraid and hesitant to ask about the incident. 6 months later, I get to know 2 guys from the same unit. They were not part of the same surveillance operation. We are at a bar talking, so I tell them what happened and ask for their opinion. They do not look surprised at all. They basically explained to me that it is common in that kind of operation to see weird shit. When the army raids their crops, labs, training camps, houses, etc., they often report similar things. According to them, cartels pay huge amounts to shamans or witches alike to protect their lands from the army to keep them away, and to know when the army or police is on their asses. I cannot fully believe that, but here, it is often talked among the military. At this point, I have heard many similar stories. Ever find any cultists? I hear they are big in parts of Mexico. Yes, they are a thing here and come in many ways. Most of them are just religious sects or cults, but there are also cartel cultists. Though their activity has decreased, I have heard horrific stories. The closest contact I had with an evil cult was after a raid in a safe house that they were using. We were just there watching the place before the forensics arrived. There was a fucked up smell in the whole place. A buddy says, "Come here and on, come see this." A whole room full of human bones, animal remains, and things I could not identify. Everything was placed around a big pot. There were fresh human remains. It appeared that they were removing the bones from a fresh corpse. I later found it as a voodoo religious practice called Palo Mayombe. It consists of creating an entity through a religious ritual of some sort, and you need to make your spirit stronger each time, so you add human or animal bones to the pot. Pretty fucked up. Are cultists easy to put down, or is all that voodoo stuff legit? I don't have many references as far as combat goes, but when it comes to getting caught, they are unbelievably fucking lucky. During a debrief about checkpoints, what to look at, who to stop and check, they were using some examples on how cartels go through those checkpoints several times despite being on the wanted list, having drugs on them, or sometimes literal human remains. All of those times, they were not stopped. Canines did not smell anything. Despite all controls, protocols and shit, they somehow go through the main gate. Here is another one. I will try to sum it up as it is long. Be me patrolling near a beach and watching over tourists. Even cartels respect the tourists that buy their drugs, so all is calm and easy. We can even chill for some time. We receive a call. A missing military official with a military vehicle has not reported in, is not responding, and is late. A huge search is deployed where the official went and the surrounding area. It is difficult. There are many ways and roads to look. We receive a call. He was found by a local and was reported to the police. We still struggle to find the exact place. The whole area is like a maze. Military official was unconscious over the horn. A taxi driver heard the horn and went to check. The whole scene was suspicious. No shooting, no signs of combat, and the official did not crash. The vehicle was just there, like, stationed. Besides, it took more than 2 hours for someone to find him. Taxi driver somehow looked off. We suspect official was drugged, poisoned, or something like that. We inquire police officers and taxi driver who looks anxious, but nothing comes of it. Only that people avoid taking that road. We question taxi driver and police on why it took so long for someone to find him, as he was just there in the middle of the road. There are many roads like it and are transited. Taxi driver says no one goes near there ever. The place is cursed or some shit. Police did not deny it, just kind of avoided the talk. Military official is taken to base, and the whole case is dismissed as a health issue. Days after, it is my day off. Go to downtown to eat some decent food and look around. I'm in a restaurant, small talking with a waitress about work, and mention what happened a couple of days ago. She told me the whole story. There in that road, there is a sideway to a water plant with a pump extracting water from a deep well. According to the legend, someone owned that land and built that plant. Somehow, the owner made a pact with a demon or a devil. No one knows what that deal was about, but since then, the water plant has never stopped pumping water. No one knows how the plant operates, as there are no power lines connected to it, and the whole place is fenced and closed. No one works there. You can hear a metallic-like sound all the time. It is supposed to be the water pump working, or something pumping water, like an old water pump. People started to go missing near the plant, sometimes found dead. She mentioned that whatever is in that plant likes to mess around with people. Many locals and tourists that have gone near that plant or road are attacked and later present a form of physical or mental impairment. Perfectly healthy people being turned into morons or having their legs or limbs paralyzed. At this point, I am really interested in the story and want to learn more. Go back at main base and try to get information about the military official and his status. He is being transferred to the capital for a further medical examination. He is fine, but has facial paralysis, maybe because of a head injury, and he will need therapy. No way it is a coincidence. I tell everything to a buddy and agree to check the place. Couple of weeks we move our day off. Go to the road and supposed water plant during the day. Be in the same road, everything goes silent, like off silent. The jungle is always alive, full of sounds. It feels really off, but decide to continue. Find a side dirt road that goes deep in the jungle. It must be it. We walk it for some meters. Everything is still quiet. Hear a constant metallic screeching, like old machinery. Oh shit. Walk a little more. See a fence and a structure. Noise is louder now. We just check from the distance. It seems old. No power lines or traces of people being around for a long time. The jungle eats everything within some days. However, the place has not been touched by nature either. Be looking around and trying to peek a little. Metallic sound stops completely. Me and Buddy don't say anything. Look at each other. A dreadful sensation takes over us. We noped out of there as fast as we could. We didn't see anything, but somehow felt we needed to get out of there for our lives. Go to main base, basically wasting our day off. Research a little more about the water plant. I find weird stuff, like a water company owning that plant. It is the only plant they own. The owner should be over 80 years old. Didn't dare to go there ever again. Another one, in case someone is interested. 2017, huge earthquake hits the country. Several buildings collapse completely or partially. There are people trapped in some. We are deployed to help an SAR of trapped people. All from the start, the whole population was providing help and tried to rescue people trapped. Although this was seen very positive, it actually was harmful. Trying rescues without the proper knowledge, moving debris up and down, caused some buildings to collapse again, or people trapped to be crushed. Second days of search and rescue operations, and we bring in heavy machinery, as there is tons of debris to be removed, and at some point, it will be used to clean the whole collapsed buildings until all chances of rescuing people have been exhausted. Usually, people distrust the government and think we will use the heavy machinery when people might be trapped, and things escalate. Some people try to revolt, and some soldiers are even attacked, despite trying to explain to them, but they just don't fucking listen. We don't let them trespass, as they can cause the buildings to collapse again, and noise prevents search and rescue to hear people that might still be alive. These people are fucking stupid. See an old lady in the restricted area near a building partially collapsed. She seems disoriented and confused, sad and worried at the same time. I think it's someone whose family is still missing or trapped and get to her. I am nice to her and tell her she cannot be here. She can get hurt or even worse. I think she managed to get in when people were arguing and revolting outside the restricted area. I am walking her out when she starts to weep. The moment I touch her shoulder to try to comfort her, a sensation of sadness and sorrow takes over me. A couple of tears fall from my eyes. I think the whole situation is very emotional. She did not say anything. I walked her out of the area. I asked if there was someone that can take care of her. She just walks out of the crowd. Days later, the body of an old lady is found in the building that I saw the other lady days ago. She died trying to protect her toddler grandson, but both were crushed. Most of the bodies found were similar to those. I see when the body is being taken out and cleaned of debris. It is the same old lady. Feel like shit for walking her out of the area. A shorter one, non-commando related. Be me. Still live with parents. Arrive home late at night. Don't remember where I went, but I was tired. Don't see anyone up, mom, dad, or sister. Sister is about 17 to 18 years old, goes out quite often. Too tired to see TV or internet, go to sleep. About 2 to 3 a.m., I am awoken by my mom. She is crying. She is not just crying. She sounds terrible, like she has received really bad news. The only time I have ever heard her like this was when Grandpa died. I don't know how to explain it, but something about her tone made me quickly worry. She is not only crying, she is saying, No, this can't be. I immediately think of my sister. This is Mexico, remember? She could have been kidnapped, or worse. There is no other relative alive for which she would react that way. Jump out of bed and go to Mom's room. She is asleep. I ask what happened. She doesn't understand. Go check sister. She is asleep. I turn on the light. She tells me to fuck off. What the fuck? I swear I heard Mom still while walking down the stairs. I explain to them what I heard, and they tell me it was probably a dream. I guess it was that, but I'm not really sure. Go back to sleep. 15 to 20 minutes later, trying to sleep. Hear a giggle that soon turns into a loud laugh. Whoever or whatever is laughing sounds big. It also sounds not natural, like a mechanical voice, a speaker or something, replicating that sound. Hear sister calling me. Go downstairs. Mom and sister heard it too. Dad is on a trip. Stay up the whole night, wondering what the hell that was. We live in an urban area. Neighbors are close by. Next day we asked neighbors, but they did not hear or know anything. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. Mexican here. Have a story about Mexican witchcraft. Not crazy like some stories on here, but completely true. Grew up on a ranch in northern Mexico with my parents and grandparents. I was told that my aunt, grandfather's sister, is a witch. My grandmother is a small, incredibly positive native woman. My aunt hates my grandmother for some reason. We used to wake up and find weird objects around the ranch. They looked weird, usually pieces of wood and bone tied together with small pieces of rope. Scribbles all over them in red paint, definitely not in Spanish. Grandmother would always say, "Don't touch that," and scoop them up quickly. She would cover them in ash and pray over them, then go off and throw them away somewhere. She said they were curses sent by my aunt. Interesting. One day, Grandpa flips out. We are eating breakfast when he stands up. Eyes are wide, darting all around the room. Sinks to his knees and passes out. Bedridden for hours as we wait for the nearest doctor to show up. His right hand and arm swell up pretty badly while we wait. Doctor shows up and says it's a snake bite. Looks around, can't find the fang marks. Treats it like a snake bite anyway, but nothing happens. He is stumped. Checks grandfather once more and says there is nothing he can do. Grandmother is worried. She walks up to the church down the road to pray. We stay with grandfather, but I go outside at some point and see grandmother hurrying back down the road towards the ranch. "It's your aunt," she says. She cursed him. Apparently, she was praying and got a vision of my aunt next to a snake burrowing into the ground. Grandmother searches the ranch and finds a small area under a window that's clearly been dug up. Digs up a rattlesnake fang tied to a small broken bone. Has the same red writing scribbled all over everything. Grandmother coats it in ash and prays over it as usual. She says that she will have to go far to get rid of it, to keep an eye on my grandfather. An hour later, I watch as my grandfather's swelling goes down. Literally looks like he deflated, like a balloon. Later, grandmother comes back, and grandfather wakes up as she walks through the door. His eyes look completely black for a second before going back to normal. He looks at us and asks what the fuck happened. Grandmother, who is normally very calm and quiet, lays into him about his fucking sister trying to kill him. Never heard her talk like that before. Later on, after a period of not much happening, grandfather showing me how to tie a solid knot. His right arm suddenly drops. The rope falls from his hand and he looks confused. He looks at me and falls over, dead. I run and tell my mom. Everyone starts freaking out. Long story short, we have a funeral. and then try to go on as normal. One day, grandmother finds another curse lodged in the center of a tree. She thinks this is what killed my grandfather. It's a long, thin blade tied to a human hand, with all the fingers broken badly. I asked her about it after I got a little older, and she told me more about the curses. She said that the first curse that made my grandfather swell up was a broken finger bone tied to a rattlesnake fang. The one that killed him, the human hand, was a missing finger. So for a long time, she thought that the broken finger came from the same human hand, but she always wondered whose hand it was. Well, after a few years, my grandmother and my aunt ran into each other at a shop. That is when my grandmother saw that my aunt was missing a hand. A lot of Mexican people do believe in witches, Satanism, and the occult. Now, here in the States, if you tell me a story like that, I would just shrug it off. But in Mexico, it's a different story. There is something about Mexico, whether it's the land, the location, or the people, but things are different here. I was on vacation in Mexico with wife about a month ago. Now, the wife family lives on a town on the outskirts of the city, which they call a rancho, which translates to ranch in English. Very pretty place, no internet, and running water stopped after 5 or 6 p.m. Nothing to do except hang out and talk to people and go out to places and see people. One day, we stopped by her grandmother's house for dinner since we were going to leave in a few days. Now, I already know that her grandmother was known as a white witch around that town and other surrounding towns, which basically means she uses herbs and prayers to heal and help people. I have already heard some stories about her, and she does this thing with an egg on me that's supposed to clean me and protect me when she comes to the US to visit. While eating delicious dinner, she says she is expecting company at about 7 p.m. She says she has to cleanse someone. Curious, I ask what it's about, and she tells me a man in town was pursued by a witch. She tells me this guy was sitting on his porch outside around 6 p.m. talking to his girlfriend. When he was done talking to her, he realized he was sitting on his dad's chair that normally is under a tree by the corner where his dad liked to sit in the mornings. He takes the chair and walks it to the tree to leave it there, and as he places the chair under the tree, he feels a presence staring down at him from at the top of the tree. He looks up and sees the tree has no leaves, only branches, and sees what looks like a human wearing a dark tattered robe with a distorted face perched on the tree. Frightened, he takes off to his house as he feels gusts of wind creeping up behind him. He makes it to his house and runs to his bedroom, expecting whatever that was to break in, so he grabs a machete and stands by a corner of his room. Whatever that was did not follow him inside, but he could hear what sounded like a giant bird flying around his house, whistling at him as it flew by his own room window. Eventually, the thing leaves him alone, and he sits in his room awake all night with that machete until his dad comes home the next morning. Dad takes him to his house, where he calls Grandma, and sets up that appointment at 7. Now, she tells me that seeing a witch is one thing, but being followed, pursued, or teased by one is an entirely different scenario. Apparently, the witch wants something from him now, and won't leave him alone until she has it. Judging from how the witch was whistling and giggling/laughing, makes it seem as the witch wants to mate with him, forcefully. A witch could change herself to look beautiful to seduce a guy, only to change form while having sex, but since she didn't do that, it seems as if she wants to basically assault the guy while scaring the shit out of him. So, he needs to be cleaned, and a long prayer needs to be said to even get him to be remotely safe, due to the violent manner upon how this witch wants to have sex with him. I got to see the guy at 7. I expected him to be an older guy, someone who was a farm worker, the stereotype of who will believe in witches and demons. He was young, about my age, maybe 20, 22. He looked nervous and uneasy. Of course, Grandma did not tell him the severity of what it all meant, nor did she tell him what the witch probably wanted, but I got the feeling the guy somehow knew. I wasn't allowed to watch, but after, I did hear her say that he should not stay at his house and should sleep with family for a few days. And lastly, that's all coming from what the grandma told me, what I heard and what I seen. The guy's face really got me. I've never seen someone so uneasy before, almost as if he knew he was going to die and he didn't know what to do. You could tell he had not gotten any sleep and that he was not going to for a while. That was the most recent thing I can think of. I have a couple more stories if anyone is interested. Mexico is definitely a creepy place in the rural areas. I have a weird one about a magic guy in Mexico. Everyone told me growing up that he had a don, which means like a blessing from God, sorta. People who do healing or who have special skills are sometimes said to have undon. Dad is from a small Mexican village. The local man is kind of famous for his good crops. People say he has a don and that he can water his crops with his hands. To be honest, I don't care. I just know I like the guy because he always gives me and my cousin bits of sugarcane for free when we go over. Fast forward. I am about 13 years old now, visiting Mexico. On our last day, the guy with the don invites my family over for dinner. We go over, I shake his hand, and he asks us if he wants some free sugarcane. Tells us we can pick our own mangoes if we want. Yes, please. As we are walking out the back door to the men's fields, Dad tells me to watch the men closely, so I do. Keep in mind, the first thing I did when I entered this man's house was shake his hands. They were completely clean. Now I am watching him a few feet in front of me, and I see bits of black stuff start dripping off of his hands. His hands go from looking clean to looking like he has been digging around in the dirt. He has not touched anything yet. He kneels by one of the chili plants and digs around for a bit, and then gets up and dusts off his hands. Dad shows me the chili plant and points to the one next to it. The one the man was touching has fresh black soil around its base. The other plant does not. Dad just smiles, but I am what the fucking, like, how the hell is this real? Look over at the man. He is sprinkling water at one of the plants. I can actually see the water flying off of his fingers. There is no water anywhere nearby. His hands were totally dry when I shook them. After a while, he cuts down some sugarcane and we go inside. Have a nice dinner and leave Mexico the next day. The man passes away before I ever have a chance to return. Cousins tell me the crops still grow good in his fields, but not as good as they used to. My face won. I posted this one in a thread a long time ago, but I can't remember the details, so here we go. B relative. I'll call him Jose from now on. Living in Mexico. Traveling to a different town for a job. I think he was a sicario moving to another hit. He's with his partner smoking a cig by a tree line / forest. Both of them see a ball of light jumping through the branches. Partner turns to look at him and asks, "What the hell is that?" Jose tells him it's a witch. His partner looks at the light getting closer and grabs his gun and aims at it. Jose tells him to put it away because bullets cannot hurt witches. Partner puts it away, but decides to prove him wrong. Proceeds to remove pans and wrap it around a rock. Jose looks at him in confusion. Partner waits until the ball of light gets close and chucks the pant rock. Fucking nails the witch. They see the witch fall through the branches and run over to it. They get to where the witch fell and see an old woman with a pig. They help her up because she's old, but then proceed to hold her at gunpoint because she's a witch. She tells them that she is not an evil witch and that she doesn't suck kids' blood. Mexican witches suck kids' blood, by the way, and that the pig is from a town far away. They both think about it and decide to let them go. She thanks them and invites them to a witch's Sabbath. They accept the invitation and send her on her way with her pig. They get the fuck out of town and don't go to the Sabbath. Be me, 13 years old, visiting grandparents for the first time. They live in Mexico and we grew up poor so we could not afford to visit them. Trip is cool. Basically play in the mountains all day. Eat delicious Mexican food, etc. But there is one weird thing. Didn't remember it for a long time. Almost every night I would wake up for no reason. I would lie there with my eyes open. Not scared, but feeling very alert. Then I would hear a sound. Only way to describe it is kind of like the sound of a creaky door opening. Very similar, but not exactly. The sound came from the wall right next to my bed. Then I would hear footsteps walking through the house. Very heavy, very slow. Never felt afraid, but I could not sleep until they were gone. I would lie there until I heard the same noises before. Whole thing usually lasted an hour. Anyway, for some reason, I guess I never brought it up. My memories of it aren't very good, so maybe at the time I thought it was a dream, I don't know. Anyway, the trip ends, and we return home. Years later, we go back to visit grandparents. I am 19 at this point. One day, I am helping my grandma make tortillas, just me and her. Suddenly, I remember my dream. Had not thought about it in years. Tell grandma all about it. Her face lights up. She said it's not a dream. She hears it too, footsteps and everything. She brought it up to my grandpa once, back when they were both young. He thought she was just crazy. Grandma never brought it up again. I ask her if she knows what it is. She says no. Then she tells me not to mention it to anyone at all. She sounds sad. Nobody will believe you anyway.